you can see here that we're going to graph this function, but we're not given a domain. So what I recommend first is to make an XY table, because to graph a function, you need ordered pairs, which are points, and points are made up of X and Y values. And this is going to be what our points are going to look like. So we're going to plot points. And you can make up any numbers you want for your domain, for your X values. And then once you make up those numbers, you just got to figure out what the outputs are. So these are my inputs. Make up at least, in this case, we just need at least 2 inputs. And I'm going to show you why. So first of all, I noticed that this has an absolute value in it. And if you look at a sketch of the absolute value, it's going to look something like this. It's going to be a V shape. So this is like the absolute value of X, looks like this. And if you want to plot this point, all you have to do is find the vertex, which is this point here, which is like your corner. That's the vertex. And then we need one more point over here, to the right or to the left. It doesn't matter which one you pick. But like, let's say that this is my X is 0 here. I would pick a number to the right, which would be like 1, for example. Or if I could pick a number to the left, it would be like -1. And the reason why we only need 2 points is because once you find your vertex, let's say you find this point here. Well, once I find this point, I'll be able to know what this point is, because I just got to reflect it across. And I'll show you once I get to the example how to reflect it. But it's important to label which one is going to be your vertex, and I'm going to show you how to find the vertex in this function here. So the vertex is the first thing we're going to look for. And to find the vertex, you're going to look at inside the absolute value and ask yourself, what value of X do I have to put in place here? So when I subtract 5 from it, I get 0. Well, I know that would have to be 5, because 5 minus 5 is 0. And that's what would give me 0 inside the absolute value. So that means my first value will be 5. And I'm going to evaluate that in this function. So I'm going to go on the side. I'm going to write down the function, or this equation, y equals x minus 5, or the absolute value of that, plus 2. My input is, I picked for x is 5, because that's what's going to make this 0 in there. And again, whatever makes this 0 inside here will be your vertex. So I'll put plus 2. 5 minus 5 is 0. The absolute value of 0 is 0. That's just asking how far is that number from 0 on a number line, which is 0 spaces away. And then 0 plus 2 is 2. So my output is 2. So I go over here, and that's my first point. And I'm going to make a label. This is my vertex. Make a little note. This is the vertex, because once you have your vertex, you're going to pick a number to the right or the left, and you have to reflect it. So you don't want to reflect the wrong point. So I mentioned you need to pick a number to the right or to the left of this. So now that I have 5 here, I'm just going to pick the number, let's say 6. That's to the right of that number. So I'm going to do 6, and I'm going to find out what's the output for that number. So I go to my equation, and I'm going to substitute 6 in place of x and evaluate that number. So 6 minus 5 is 1. The absolute value of 1 is saying how far is that from 0. That's 1 space away from 0 on the number line. So I get 1 is my answer. And then 1 plus 2 gives me 3. So my output is 3 for that one. So I have my 2 points, and that's enough information to graph this absolute value function. I'm just going to do a quick sketch here. And we need the points 5, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2. So I got to go right 5, up 2. And I'm going to put a point there. And don't forget, that is my vertex. So again, as a side note, my absolute value function looks like this, something like this. And my vertex would be right here. So now, since I picked the number 6, I know that's going to be to the right of that vertex. So basically, I'm going to be looking for this point over here. So I'm going to plot the point 6, 3. So I need to go over one more. So I'm going to extend this graph a little bit more. And then I'm going to go, so right 6, up 3 will be right here. And you can see we have this part of the graph now. So I'm going to draw my line here, or my ray. A ray just has an endpoint, and it goes forever in one direction. And now I'm going to reflect this across to the other side. So to reflect it, just imagine a vertical line, an imaginary line passing through the vertex, right? It's vertical, passing through the vertex. And if you look at this point here, it's right 1, up 3. So instead of going right 1, up 3, I'm going to do the opposite. Left 1, and then I'm going to go up 3. So left 1, up 1, 2, 3. And you can see it's reflected across. And now all I have to do is draw my ray. So start with the endpoint, and it passes through that point and goes forever in that direction. And there you go. That's the absolute value function for this right here.